Hi everyone, it's Theresa here from ICATB and we're doing Marketing with Theresa today. We're having an interview with Nikki from Pasture Perfect, who is based in West Wales. Just to let you know, Nikki and I know each other really well, so that's why we're very relaxed today and we're not on the gin. So I just want to say hi to Nick and welcome, and this is your second interview with us.
Oh, hiya, thanks. Yes, it's second interview, so thanks for having me back. Thank you.
And I think the reason we're sort of chatting again today, because since our last interview, things have changed dramatically for you within your business.
Yes.
And
Yes.
working, I'm going to do a little pat on the back for us all that we worked really hard this year.
Yes, it has been. It's been a busy year.
And it's been awesome, and your business is thriving, and turnover, etc., is fantastic. So that's why we're here to a bit of celebration about where we are right now. So Nick, I know something we didn't cover last time was about your history, about why you are stuck in the nicest possible way in a village in West Wales, because I know damn well that that's not a Welsh accent.
No, indeed. Right. Well, it's basically my late mum's fault. I'm from Wiltshire, and she got into keeping cows basically, and outgrew the small holding that she and my dad had there, and they decided they wanted some more land, and started looking in West Wales. And here we are. So yes, and she moved down with 3 lorry loads of cattle, because it was a bit, if you imagine moving house anyway is a bit stressful. She was refusing to sell any of her cattle, even though the sale was taking longer and longer and longer. So she had to buy in an awful lot of forage to keep them going. And then the cattle actually arrived before my mum did in Wales. So they got here. And the guy who had the place looked after her cows for her until moving day. So that was really nice.
It's amazing.
So so that's why. And then Martin and I were working up in Wiltshire, and we just got to a point we used to come down and farm sit so that mum and dad could have a holiday, and we got to a point where we just didn't want to go home, so we moved down as well. That seems like a terribly long time. It was about 30 years ago. I know. I know. And so basically then my mum passed away in 2003, and we took the farm on 2004, so we've been farming in our own right since 2004. And Pasture Perfect just developed from wanting to have more control over our product. At the time when we took the farm on, the cattle prices were very volatile. There were lots of things happening regarding Europe, and it felt like you were sending your cattle to market, having no control over what price we were going to get. It was really variable from week to week, month to month, and it was really a way that we could retail directly to the customer and be able to control our income. Really, that's how it was born. Absolutely. From. I wasn't expecting to fall in love with it quite like I did, and I wasn't expecting it to lead us to keeping pigs as well, but it just that all happened too. So I'm very glad it did. It's been quite an experience.
Well, and now we're in 2021, excuse me. Yes. Sort of time sort of does fly, whether we are having fun or not, unfortunately sometimes. But the fact is, though, that organisation and that planning and that control over your business is highly important.
Yes, it's a lot of work. So and with any business, though, it's all got to add up, hasn't it? But yes, it is important, and that is what the retail side of things did give us. And we have been very busy over the last year. It's been really heartening to see that people have been interested in local, seasonal, sustainable food, which is something that I'm really into. I actually think it could solve a lot of problems if we could access more local, seasonal and sustainable food. So that's one thing that we work on, and we actually only sell locally, because I just feel uncomfortable about packing meat into boxes and couriering it halfway around the country. You know, there's farms that are doing what we do all over the country. So I would encourage anyone to look at what food producers you've got around you, and just see what's available that you can buy locally. And people get an idea that it's all going to be horrendously expensive, and it really isn't. It really isn't. And you actually know where your food's coming from, and I think it's really important. It's important to me anyway, and it's this last 12 months seems to have made things just a little bit more local, seems to be a little bit more sensible, and a little bit more of people seem to be choosing local more.
I totally agree, and I don't think it's just because we are, people who are watching here, I'm in Wales as well, and fairly close to each other,
yes,
in the Wales terms, but the fact is that we are interested in more. Everybody is more interested in a little bit more about where their food comes from, even if you go to the probably swear at you now, even if you go to the adverts on the TV about McDonald's, and I am swearing, is the fact that they are talking about local farmers producing the meat for them, and that's because they know, and a lot of us know, this fact that we want to be aware of where our produce comes from, and I think that's important for the future as well as.
Oh yes, I think it's going to become more and more important now.
Absolutely. So you're saying about sustainability, so is that within your own farm? Is that what you're interested in?
Yes, basically we produce 100% grass-fed beef, so there is a subtle difference between grass-fed beef and 100% grass-fed beef. So we're 100% grass-fed beef, which literally is that. All our cattle, they are just fed grass. So in the summer they're out grazing it, and in the winter they're eating preserved grass, which is silage and haylage in the sheds. I'd love to keep them out all year round, but we are too wet here. We get fabulous Welsh rain. It is beautiful, and it makes the grass so fantastic, and everything about it is great. But there's a lot of it, and it does make our fields too wet. I go down to Pembrokeshire sometimes, and their cattle are out already down there, and it's just amazing. I get so envious, but it just doesn't work for us here. So we do have to house them in the winter, but they just have grass. So for me, being able to produce grass-fed beef, it just seems logical, sensible. It fits the farm. It fits what we do. My dad was always very, very keen on the environment and hedgerows and maintaining trees and managing everything, and that seems to work well with what we're doing. We've got quite diverse pastures in places, and the farm is able to support a lot of wildlife as well. So that's important to us.
It's a big old circle there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You can't have one without the other. I really do feel that. It's, in order to farm and produce food, you actually need to work hand in hand with the environment as well. And there's it's a two-way relationship. And so yeah.
It is important. Yeah, we have to look after that, so it looks after us.
Yes.
Which is good. Oh, talk to me about Dad. So Dad's obviously still in your life, thank goodness.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Does he like being back on the farm because he doesn't live with you?
No, he does come and stay occasionally, and he finds himself looking at the hedges and saying, "Oh, I wish I could lay that hedge again. I wish I could get that sorted." So yeah, he does. He comes back. I've got one cow left that knows him. That was a calf when he finished. So that's quite nice. He comes up and has a chat to her. But yeah, it does. There's a lovely feeling of continuity with it, and he is fond of the farm. There's no doubt about it. But
it's nice to come back and
yeah, Yeah.
And not have to do the work.
No. Well, he comes back here for basically for a rest and a chance to just unwind a little, and it's I think it's a great place to do that. I mean, the views are amazing, and yeah, it just, well, I love it here. I know it's my home, but I just love it. It's got everything I need.
Awesome. And I know that there's a few plans this year, more for local peeps.
Yes.
Who can get to you.
Yeah.
So what plans have you got?
Okay, the plan is, we've slowed it down a bit because of the whole pandemic, sadly. But the plan is to have taster evenings here at the farm. So it will be a chance to spend an evening here at the farm, and to take in the views, try our produce that we'll cook for you. There'll be a fire pit. There'll be a chance to basically chat with your friends and stare at the stars. We've got amazing dark skies up here. They are beautiful. We've got barn owls that are nesting as well. So they come out each evening. And just kind of disconnect from the world and let us show you what we produce on the farm. That's our taster evenings.
And I'm definitely on the list, so do make sure
there we go
that we are on that list, and again, if people are watching, you have to think about your business and diversify into areas, but bring people into your main thing. So your main thing, obviously looking after your animals, but also to produce meat for the local community. So this is where you're pushing out the boundaries a little bit and bringing people's into the farm and actually sharing your produce, so they know that the quality is really high. So therefore they know that they can order their produce from you. So what makes you stand out from another?
I think from the beef industry generally, or just
local environment?
Local environment. I think certainly we're going to be a little bit different with the taster evenings. I don't know anyone else who's doing those. I think it's the fact we're 100% grass fed. I think it's because we're not shy about telling people how we feel about the environment. And also, I think just generally deep down, we're just passionate about producing our livestock with care, and also sort of the history of it. The cattle that we've got now go back to, it sounds weird, but they go back to a bunch of calves that my mother bought in 1984. So we've got a whole sort of family lineage, the heritage. Nothing's pedigree, there's nothing fancy, but they are commercial beef producing herd, with the maternal lines going right the way back to when I was still at school. I think I was just before my O levels, and I don't know, that's a bit different. I think, you've just got, we're a small family farm basically, and we're trying to do things a bit different. We just want to tell.
You are. But I'm going to touch on something that's really close to your heart.
Oh.
Tomatoes.
Oh, tomatoes, yes.
Tell me about tomatoes.
Okay, I have a tomato problem. in that I absolutely adore growing tomatoes. I can't even explain where it came from. I had a packet, I had about 3 packets of seeds, and I grew them and thought they won't all grow, and they did. And I had a polytunnel allotment at the time, and I ended up with over 70 tomato plants, and then I ended up processing. You get a lot of tomatoes off 70 tomato plants. So then I started messing about with doing things with tomatoes. And every now and again, I go through phases of thinking, I wonder if I could do something commercial with my tomatoes, but it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. But it is nice to be able to think about other things that we could possibly do. I quite like, one of the things I like doing with the beef is finding different ways to cook it. So this year we're going to be doing some outdoor cooking just to make things a little bit different. But I'm also really into spice rubs and herbs and just getting a little bit more beefiness out of it and doing things a little bit differently. So there have been moments where I've sat there and thought, oh, maybe we should have a range of spice rubs or something like that. Is that the trouble is, I think this is always the way, isn't it? When you're self-employed, there's all these different things you could do. Not all of them are going to work, but they're quite good fun to actually explore. And I've done the whole wrap it in pastry and see what happens, and I've decided I can't do that for lots of different reasons. But I think well, for starters, I'll be the size of a house. I'll eat them all. And secondly, I'm not sure if the world of the pie, although they're a lovely treat, I don't think pies are going to become every day again, are they? You know, we're not in the 60s.
Back in the 60s, yeah. Probably not. Things have moved on. I suppose with ICA, when you've been working with I Can Achieve, you know, what we were just talking about there is actually to be able to voice your thoughts. Whether it is, shall we go down the pie route, or should we go down the tomato route, or shall we do this and this? So with that in mind, do you find that a benefit within I Can Achieve?
Yes, because I think well, there's one thing this last 12 months has taught us is things can suddenly change. And as a result, it doesn't hurt to have basically to have explored other things out there and be ready to adapt. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Totally. It's just being ready to take a little sidestep, or to leave one part of your business alone and push more on the one that's relevant at that time. So yeah, I think it helps in all sorts of ways. I think it helps sort of from a sense of security going forward, so that you've got some ideas there. But I find it gives me a bit of clarity as well. I like to know where I'm going if I can. It helps.
I think it helps tremendously in your business. So at least you're going down the right path, as it were. To know where you're, this aim, isn't it? And we can all aim down a line, but as you say, things have gone a bit up this year. But to know that you've got other ideas in the pan, as it were, to go, actually, that's not going to happen, because I said we can't have an open farm because.
Yes, that's something we missed last year and we'll miss again this year, I'm sure of it. But if you don't explore it, and that's the thing, is I think in the past I would have just sort of thought, oh, maybe I could do this, and this, and just left it. But having been through ICA and D2A and things like that, to actually go, no, explore it. What could you do? You don't have to do it. And to actually be able to sort of really look into it and then go, okay, I won't do that but I've explored it. And then it's almost like your brain's just a little bit freer to go and either explore the next thing or just get back to what you're doing. I do think, I don't understand how it all works, and I think the mind's an amazing thing, and somehow you shove a business in there as well, and it can get a bit overwhelmed. So but it worked for me. That's all I can say. It's helped.
Yeah, for people who are watching who don't really understand ICA, is I Can Achieve. That's what we're gabbling on about. And this is ICA TV, so it's really cool. And also D2A is Dream to Achieve, which is a program that we run within I Can Achieve to take your business from that dream, or the dream within your business, to achievement. It does what it says on the tin, and then you automatically join us and Nikki and me in the Action Club, which is a weekly meet where we are a bit silly, but we also we get shit done. which is, I'm not sure we're allowed to say that on Facebook, but we do. We get stuff done and we get things in lines a little bit, and we actually make decisions to move things forward. So our gabbly gooch about our letters that we're talking about, that's what it is. So if you've got any questions on that, let us know, and we'll untangle all that. So you are doing your fingers crossed taster evenings this year, if the world decides we're allowed.
I think we're looking towards the autumn, if at all. Yeah, we'll see how things pan out.
That'd be nice.
See how it pans out. But it was supposed to happen a fortnight after Open Farm Sunday, which would have been in June. So yeah, it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, cool. What is your favourite part of the business?
Oh gosh,
throw that.
My favourite. My favourite part. There's lots of bits that I really like. So I consider myself fortunate in that department. So there's lots that I really like, but I think my favourite part is my animals. It's raising my livestock. They're fascinating, and it's just a lovely time of day going off doing the feeding. It's just, yeah. I think deep down I'm just happiest hanging out with my livestock.
Just chilling with
just
your
hanging
cows
out. Well,
and your pigs.
I would say chilling because I'm actually going. I've got quite a bit of work to do when I'm out there.
Okay. You're not just watching.
I'm not just watching. No, they are amazing. I feel as though I'm incredibly lucky. As a child, I wanted to go farming, and to now be at this end of my life, and all that means sound dramatic.
Sounds like you're gone.
I'm over 25, aren't I? You know.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, I've been really fortunate to be able to do it, and you never stop learning anyway. And to have the cattle that my mother had is really lovely. You know, to have the lines that she had, and yeah, developing the pig side of things is, and they're just amazing. I've just got total respect for them, and the part they play in my business. So I'm just very, very lucky. I'm very fortunate.
But you've done a lot of hard work to get there. It's not just happened.
Oh no, it hasn't just.
But there you go.
There's been some extreme moments. There's been some hilarious moments. There's also been, why on earth are we doing this moments. It's like any business, isn't it? Really. But yeah, no. Overall, I'm very fortunate to be self-employed.
Oh wow! If we sort of finish the interview about, obviously people are watching, and is there anything you would say to somebody in business that would benefit them from your experience?
Right, I would say I think the biggest thing that's helped me is clarity. So being clear about everything, actually, and not just focus on where the business is going and sales target. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about clarity in everything. You know, clarity in when to step away and take time out, when to move forwards, when to just clarity. To me, clarity is everything. And mine improved massively after your Dream to Achieve program. But I also think it's really important who you hang out with. And they say, don't they, you become like the 5 people you hang out the most with. So be careful who you hang out with. And and we all hang out on Zoom now, don't we? Every Wednesday morning, the whole lot of us. And it's great. It's great. So yeah, I would say clarity and maybe being careful who you hang out with.
Oh, bless. Awesome. Yeah. And we do have a bit of a laugh.
We do. I know you and I do too much.
We do, yeah. We'll be thrown out the room one day. Delete these people, get them out. We're talking about something else. Fine, my darling. But I think it's really important to be lighthearted and have a laugh, because that lifts the soul. Not on a woo-woo level. We're not. No, we're talking.
No.
This is about, bringing up the energy and making sure that you're in a good space, not just for your business, but for you. Which is, there's a lot of sad people out there, and we're not there to be sad. We're there to
and we're not there to get overwhelmed by stuff either. There's mechanisms, isn't there? There's ways to cope. But you just need the right people around you.
You do, my sweet. You do, my sweet.
Yeah.
I am going to love and leave everybody out there, my darling. Thank you so much for sharing about your business and your thoughts and your, about your amazing farm. If anybody needs to contact Nikki, I will put her website on our little blurb, so you can contact her, whether you live in West Wales or not. I'm sure Nikki will be happy to talk about sustainability with you, and about how you can get the best into your diet, or for using the meats that are really important to support farms as well, not even if it's not, Nick, all the way up in West Wales. I was going to say your village name then, but it didn't come out.
All right, okay.
Llampump Saint.
Llampump Saint, yeah.
There you go.
Llampump
So
Saint.
I'm learning. I'm still learning. We'll get there. But anybody watching, my darlings, this is ICA TV. If you wish to have an interview with us, please do shout. All you need to be is a female business owner. That's it. We don't mix messages, but give us a shout if you need that, and we will say bye to Nick. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and we'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.